Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining our live conversation today. And special big thanks out to Kat, one of our Nomad Life community members, for suggesting this topic today, which is just a short 15, 20 minutes kind of conversation about why I have this anti-oligarchs stance. So this is a comment I made in passing in our last community call, and Kat got back in touch with me and said that she wanted to find out more about it. So thought I would do this live stream. So thanks for joining us, Tracy and Kat and Ahmed this morning. Thanks for jumping on, or the evening, depending on where you are. And Lulu, hey everyone. So let's get into it. The anti-oligarch stance. I don't know if it's a real term. It's a term I use, and basically, it's me not wanting to support the big oligarchs, particularly in America. I'm going to be talking from an American perspective. I am American. And so how I don't want to support them and what that means to me. But before that, let me just do a quick introduction. I'm Erin. I run the Substack Nomad Life. I've been traveling around the world as a nomad for more than 15 years. I'm also very civically engaged. I have 3 degrees in political science. And as I said, I like to take I like to participate in civic activities, and I have my entire life. For instance, I'll fly to DC for a march, or I'll show up at the airport to protest anti-Muslim ban, or I'll canvass and do phone banking, which is the worst, for candidates I really believe in. So as just an individual, I find it very important to be civically engaged in what's going on in our political life. And because I live overseas, I'm looking at alternative ways when I can't actually be there in person, which I do think is important too. So I've developed this anti-oligarch stance I've been following now for quite a while, but very officially for the last year or so in terms of my business. So I'm somebody who has 5 books. I was originally selling on Amazon, so obviously the largest book sale in the world. So to no longer promote my books on Amazon is a big decision. So my current anti-oligarch stance is that I don't promote Amazon, I don't promote Facebook or Instagram, so Zuckerberg, and I don't promote Twitter X. So those are my top 3. I know Kat had a question about how do you draw the line? It's tough. These are the 3 that I'm really actually focused on in terms of business, but in terms of what I'm doing with Substack and my digital products and my publishing. But I also feel just really passionate about, in general, about using our dollars and our voice to protest what's going on politically in the United States. So, for instance, when Target passed their anti-DEI policies within their store, I never once set foot in Target again. And I had my pharmacy in Target, and I went ahead um, and switched my pharmacy out. So I really never had to set foot in Target again. Also, for instance, when Walgreens decided, the pharmacy, to no longer issue Plan B, the women's health product, in all of their pharmacies, I switched my prescriptions to CVS. So it's something I've been active in a long time. So um, now we'll talk about how I do it in terms of products. So I wanted to have this conversation, not just do it on chat. One, it was going to be a little bit long, and 2, I think it's nuanced, right? So I want to be sure, and I also want to open up to questions and have more of a dialogue if people are more interested in it. So, for instance, most importantly, why am I doing this? Again, I feel it's really important for us to use our voice and to protest politically in ways. And as Americans, we are an intensely consumer society. And one way to do that is to control our spending, to control our data, and to control our content. And so that's why I chose Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, because it's a way for me to enact my values in a way that doesn't make a difference to the oligarchs. I mean, the $20 I'm going to spend on Amazon or Whole Foods, which I no longer go in either or buy from, doesn't matter to them, but it matters to me. And we've seen in America that actually economic boycotts are one of the things that does change policy. So if you look at, again, Target has really had an impact on their bottom line. If you look at Disney and some of the boycotts of the comedians and things like that, that we actually have a voice in when we gather together. And so I think this is one of the ways that we can affect change, and that we don't do enough of it. And also something I could do overseas, as I said. So that's why I'm doing it. So how I'm doing it, let's start kind of with the easiest ones first. The first one is Twitter X. So definitely I used to love Twitter back in the day and have not been on it for years now. I kept my handle, right, because it was my name. I didn't want anybody else to have it. So I guess I could go into it if I wanted to, but I'm completely off that and have been for years because I don't want to support it in any way with data or with content. The next one is Facebook. It's a little bit more challenging too because Facebook, to have a business account and to run ads on there, you need a personal account. Now, I don't run ads on there. I did for a while, a long time ago, years ago. I no longer do for my books, but my client does. So I work as a consultant for pro social businesses. My client runs Facebook ads and they run an ad with my video on it of my face, which when I originally created the video for them, it was not going to be used in ads. So hopefully that's going to be taken down soon. So there is a I have like a presence on Facebook, but not a personal one. It's a business one because of my clients. And again, that relationship, just the client contract is ending next month. And hopefully I could get out of that relationship completely with Facebook. Also, Instagram doesn't make sense for me because it's just not the way I like to write. You know, I like to do more in-depth writing. As a couple of people say, I write about the underbelly of the places we go to. And I really like to have a deeper take on the countries I'm visiting. So just Instagram doesn't resonate with me in terms of writing. And that's also easy for me not to be a part of. Now, again, I do have a handle over there and I do have my handle on Facebook because I don't want other people to have it or to impersonate me. But I don't personally, and haven't, I think, for at least 2 years, engaged in any way. It's also a decision not to have content on there, right? I don't want them to use my content and I don't want them to use my data that they can sell. Now, the only thing that makes me sad about Facebook and is that there are groups on there and friends, although for the most part, I still am in contact with them in WhatsApp and different other mediums, but is the Host a Sister group, which I used to love. And I haven't been involved in it a while because it's over 800,000 people now. It's just getting too unwieldy anyway. But I love meeting local women when I travel. And I've met, I want to say almost 30 women in Ghana and Azerbaijan and Senegal and all around the world, Georgia, in this app. And so it matches women up. And so I would get on occasionally when I was going to a country to match with women. Now, again, that's the only reason that I would be on there is for that group. So again, nuance. So I don't support Facebook. I'm not personally on it, but I do go to one group and I have to have the account for business reasons. So again, kind of a nuanced answer there that I wanted to explain a little bit. And then let's get into Amazon. So Amazon also a little bit of a harder decision, obviously, as somebody who writes books and publishes books. And so I decided not to be on Amazon last year. So what that means to me is I no longer promote my books on Amazon. And in Substack, in my nav bar, you'll see books and guides, and I sell it through Kit. So I sell it directly. And this I do feel really passionate about. And I don't like the policies of Bezos and certainly Amazon and what they do to small businesses and things like that. And so I've taken off. So what that means, though, while I no longer promote on Amazon, I do still have my books listed there. And I do that because I have had books be #1 ranked there. And I also have more than 10 years of reviews on there of my books that I published, like I said, more than 10, 12 years ago. So I don't want to lose the reviews. And so again, that's also a little nuance. So I want to just be very clear about, I don't promote it on Amazon. I no longer buy on Amazon, but my books are still listed on Amazon because of the reviews and the rankings. So again, a little bit nuance there. And if you're on Amazon, you would potentially see me on there in the books. So that's how I'm dealing with it. Like with Amazon, I do actively not shop there. So for instance, one of our Nomad Life community members, Matt Ray, had his book come out, Hitchhiking the Globe, Worldwide Hitchhiking. And he sent the Amazon link to promote it. It's like, love to promote and buy your book. Do you have a direct link? He didn't. And then he went and set it up on Gumroad. And then I was the first person to buy his book. So it's easy enough to push back. Also, or push back or just say, hey, let me buy it in another way. Also, with my Mother's Day gift, a friend of mine runs a hair care company. I bought some hair care products for my mom. I wanted to support her, and she sent me the Amazon link. And again, I just said, can I buy it from you direct? She's like, absolutely, and sends me the link. And so it's actually pretty easy to do. The one time I do buy from Amazon is in support of friends and community members. So that is actually sort of trumps my wanting to stick it to Bezos, who doesn't care about my 15, $20 anyway, right? And so if you look at our community member, Jo Barnes, who launched her Big World card series at the end of last year, it was only on Amazon. It was important for her on Amazon because she was trying to get momentum and rankings there. And so I spent the $15 to buy the books. I sent it as a present to somebody on Amazon because that was important. More important for me to support Jo and what she was trying to do with her new product than it was to not use Amazon. So again, a little or a lot nuance there with how I deal with Amazon. But those are the three that I really concentrate on. Now, I think what's really important is that you think about like the mindset behind it. One, I'm doing it because as a politically, civically engaged American, this is a way I could use my voice, particularly overseas, as I said, to take control of my spending, which I do think economic boycotts work, to take control of my data. I don't want them to use my data, and also my content, right? I want to own my content, which is why on Substack here, and then I link Substack to my own URL so that I protect it as well. So that's most important to me. But I also think there's a mindset shift, which a friend of mine wrote about why she's off the oligarchs or Facebook in particular a couple of years ago. And it's really this mind shift of like, really kind of anti-consumerism, right? Like we don't need everything right now. Like we can, if you want shoelaces, I don't need to get delivered in the afternoon or tomorrow. I could go down and go to a small shoe repair shop and buy shoelaces there. So to me, it's a mind shift as well, a mindset of supporting local businesses, not being consumed by buying things, and really trying to just take a beat, like we don't, it's the immediacy and the consumerism is all encompassing. Again, speaking as an American, that I really just don't want to live into anymore. And so for me, important to be politically, civically active, but also important for me to turn off this mindset and not just to fall into the default of I need it now, and what that means, and how if we don't need it now, and we probably don't, how instead we could support the communities we're visiting or our small businesses if we're in the States. So awesome. We have 10 people here. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining. So we have a few minutes left. I purposely wanted to keep this just at 15 minutes. It's my first live, so give me any constructive feedback. Happy to get it. But also, if you have more comments, shoot them to me. If you guys are really interested in it, we could do a community call. We do community calls, as you know, every other week, so twice a month, one for the Americas time zone and one for Asia Pacific, Europe, and Middle East time zone. So our next community call, if you're interested, is on next Thursday, the 21st, and that's for the American Pacific and EMEA, Europe, Middle East, Asia time zone. We're going to be talking about actually book publishing, and I'm happy to share too, how I publish books and how I promote them, not being on Amazon at that time. So definitely look for that invite. But anybody else here in the chat want to make a comment or two the last few minutes? I'm happy to answer questions. Kat, you're definitely interested in a longer conversation about this. Okay, we'll schedule one. You know what? We can have a whole anti-oligarch Nomad Life community chat. We'll go ahead and set that up. So we'll definitely make it in the Americans in your time zone so you can participate. Anybody else? No? Well, I thank everybody for joining. Like I said, happy to get your feedback on this. I hope you join us for the next Nomad Life community call on the 21st of May. And put in your comments, put in your reactions. If you think I'm full of shit, go ahead and put that in there too. That's okay. I'm happy to revisit it, or I'm happy to refine my strategy. Like I said, it's one that I've been developing and I've been trying to live into, but it's certainly open to interpretation and growth. And so would love any sort of comments or constructive feedback that you have to give me. So thanks everybody for coming, and I will chat to you soon. Thanks, Kat. Bye, guys.